Hello, in this video that has been developed within the EU-funded project CLIL for Young European Citizens, you will find information about our guide addressed to teachers on how to use CLIL in primary schools for innovative activities on cross-curricular topics, citizenship, environmental, and financial education. This guide is a comprehensive introduction to the use of CLIL in primary schools, in order to develop three broad cross-curricular areas: citizenship, environmental, and basic financial education. It is addressed to primary education CLIL teachers and closely linked to materials for project-based learning lesson plans. It is a continuation of the Teacher's Guide on CLIL methodology carried out in the project CLIL for Children. You will find more information about this guide checking our website. The main aim of our guide is to help teachers plan CLIL learning activities with students, help teachers observe students' behavior and learning, and help teachers monitor the results of CLIL learning sequences. The guide is also developed from previous work in the CLIL4YEC project that you may also be interested in and that you can check on our website. State-of-the-art report about the use of CLIL to develop citizenship, environmental, and financial education, a census of open educational resources to be used for CLIL in primary schools for cross-curricular activities, an online CLIL OER repository with sharing and rating functions. So, let's have a look at the outline of the main contents of our guide. The first concept our guide is based on is project-based learning. Then, what is PBL? PBL can be defined as a type of learning in which students gain important knowledge, skills, and dispositions by investigating open-ended questions to make meaning that they transmit in purposeful ways. And how can we incorporate PBL to the curriculum? In fact, projects are the curriculum, just like thematic teaching is, and not additional activities to reinforce classroom content. So it is crucial that the attitudes of the stakeholders involved are the appropriate ones, so projects do not become superfluous learning activities. When implementing PBL in CLIL settings, we should question what the role of language is and how can we integrate language into projects. To facilitate your planning and delivering of PBL lessons, we are going to provide you with some guidelines and tips to be followed. Since projects need to be adapted to the students' needs, it is crucial to provide comprehensible input. If students do not understand what they are required to do in the project, they will not be able to complete it. Projects have to be meaningful to the students, so the focus should be placed on meaning. Given the focus on meaning, projects are going to provide an opportunity for two types of knowledge: incidental and implicit learning. Usually, since students are exposed to natural language, they will benefit most from the implicit learning. A good project will typically involve group work or pair work, and this will enhance interaction. It is only by real interaction that language learning can take place. This is much more important than explicit language teaching. Finally, it is interesting to understand that some students may persist in making the same mistakes, so we as teachers should act as their guides in these situations. It is also important to highlight some examples of techniques that you can use in project-based learning. Some of them are learning by doing. A PBL setting allows students to learn by doing and applying their own ideas. Always remember to engage your students in real-world activities. Real context. Students participate in real-world activities where they have to discuss and try to solve problems. Therefore, learning is situated in an authentic, real-world context. For instance, in the PBL lesson plan Animals and Plants, the concept of invasive species can be related to their own context. For example, by asking questions such as, "What is an invasive species?" Can you give me an example? Do you know any invasive species in our region? Active learning. While learning by doing, learners actively construct meaning based on their experiences and interaction in the world. Focusing on learners. Since learners use their own experiences and interaction with the world to learn, they instantly become the center and the protagonists of the learning process. Social interaction. As learning takes place in the real world and interaction is a key aspect of it, we should follow the same model in PBL, fostering communication among students. Try to remember these steps when implementing your own PBL activities. First, start with a driving question, a problem to be solved. For instance, in a PBL lesson plan titled Animals and Plants, the driving questions can be: how can you know what animals are born in your region? What plants can you find here? Do you think we can find the same animals and plants all over the world? Second, explore the questions by participating, interacting, and researching in an authentic environment. In the same PBL lesson plan of Animals and Plants, a way of exploring the driving question can be: students will take their field notebook and draw different animals and plants that they can see in the playground. Third, the stakeholders involved can also participate when finding solutions to the initial problem. For instance, parents can help in this lesson plan when researching information about typical animals and plants that they can find in the region. While interacting with the driving question, students should get scaffolding of content to make the process easier. For example, in the PBL lesson plan sample provided in the guide, videos are used as scaffolding tools. Finally, learners come up with a tangible product related to the driving question. The aim of this final product is to share it publicly to the rest of the educational community and other stakeholders, for instance, by uploading it to an international forum. But even though it is important to bear in mind these considerations, you must remember that we are following a CLIL approach. For this reason, we are going to provide some specific techniques to carry out your PBL in CLIL settings, using clear instructions for activities, checking for understanding, for example, using sentences such as "Did you understand? Do you know what you have to do now?" Providing a model of the process and final product, using visuals, graphs, maps, hands-on activities, and body language. Introducing reading techniques to facilitate researching activities. For example, skimming and scanning. Using technology can be a great resource, for instance, our open educational resources. Finally, providing a confident learning space and taking into account the students' interests, feelings, and needs. For example, by allowing students to start speaking with their mother tongue, especially the younger ones. Let's now move on to another key concept in our project: virtual exchanges. A virtual exchange is used as part of some educational programs that use technology to allow geographically separated people to interact and communicate. Virtual exchanges are similar to telecollaboration, but virtual exchanges are used in areas beyond foreign language education. To make this concept clearer, we are going to present the main features of virtual exchanges. They should be located in a virtual learning environment, such as Google Classroom or Moodle. Teachers should agree on the tools and VLE their students will be comfortable using. It is also important to agree on competence development, bearing in mind the pedagogical digital focus, the intercultural focus, and the language focus. Finally, our third key concept is the importance of parents and the community involvement. As teachers, you already know that parents are one of the key elements in the success of any school. They usually have a positive attitude towards CLIL programs, although they may also have concerns when these programs are used. Especially, they worry about their children's level in the content subjects and about their own inability to help them with homework, usually because of the foreign language. Here there are some recommendations made by the Council of European Union for teachers and parents. We think that they can help you cooperate with parents in the process of language learning. Some of these recommendations are: Be aware of the role of parents in the success of the projects. Checking with students that the overall plan of the project is understood, using language that is clear and simple, and creating an appropriate, motivating context. Make projects family-friendly to be able to ensure parents' involvement. Some useful tips in this respect would be maintaining the families informed about the project, thinking about the ways to keep families informed without overwhelming them with information, and organizing an initial presentation of the project. The recommendations of the European Union Council also talk about the partnerships and links in a wider school environment. Here, we are going to share some recommendations you can follow when working with your community. Try to develop partnerships, especially with language and cultural-related associations, to improve and innovate teaching practice. Try to cooperate with employers in the region to increase the importance of multilingual competence. Incorporate cross-border partnerships between education and training institutions. Finally, try to promote cooperation between teacher education institutions. The application of these general principles could help you to establish a list of organizations in your community. Think about organizations from other countries which teachers can contact. Establish a list of things that could be performed with those organizations in the CLIL project. Establish the connections with those organizations. Devote some time in class to the organizations chosen, their goals and their activities. Finally, determine whether people from those organizations can be invited to your school. We hope that you have found this video useful. If you'd like to know how to put these theoretical principles into practice, please watch our next video, in which you will find details about our proposed PBL lesson template. Thanks for watching, and remember, you can check our website for more information.